Our next guest is an Emmy-winning sports analyst and Pro Bowler who became a Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's the host of Inside the NFL, which airs new episodes Wednesday nights at 9 on the CW and is available to stream the next day on the CW app. He also co-hosts the Pivot podcast. Please welcome back. Not back, first time, Ryan Clark, everybody. Friend.
So I had a conversation with everybody backstage, and I was like, well, if I fall, I'm going to pass out like I'm hurt really bad, because then that way nobody can laugh.
If you fell walking out, you were worried about that?
I was nervous, because I'm athletic in, like, my former life.
Yeah.
Right? Now I'm just a dad that does TV.
Ryan, that would be a massive drop from athlete to falling down walking out.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It feels like you drop off of a cliff once you stop playing anyway, though.
Well, you've done a really nice job. I feel like you have landed on your feet in that, you have Inside the NFL, you're an analyst for ESPN, you have a wonderful podcast. This is something you had your eye on while you were playing, right? Yeah. You knew that maybe you wanted to be in the media when you were finished. And you actually started doing it while you're still playing.
Yeah, absolutely. I was the first active football player to have a TV contract. But I remember asking Seth Markman, who runs the NFL at ESPN, to intern. And, when a football player asks to intern, he normally doesn't want to do real work.
Yeah.
So I'm doing real work. I'm just saying, like, not real work, guys.
Yeah.
Like, we like to be treated like pampered pooches, you know what I mean? And so I'm on TV, and I remember one of the hosts of SportsCenter was like, they didn't let me on TV when I was interning. I said, well, you can't play football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Massive drop-off. That's a massive drop-off. One thing I really love, you host a podcast with two former players, Fred and Channing, and I really love watching it. Because you are having conversations that people weren't having when you were playing. Yeah. Are you jealous of the fact that right now the current players just have a lot more ways to interact with the fans without having to go through normal media apparatus?
No, because you still have to interact with the fans.
Yeah.
And I think it's like all of the access. You see so much now, especially because people talk about mental health. In the sports world, you see how dealing with fans and having some of that negative feedback can affect people as well. But I do love that they can reach out. They can be parts of their communities. They can express themselves and tell their own stories. But the other side to that is those people have access to you as well. And you've kind of seen it with Jason Kelce in retirement. He's had some different run-ins. And so I think there's some good to it and some bad, but it's awesome that these guys get to start to build their own brand themselves without having to rely on traditional media.
One of the people you're working with this year, I would have known, based on watching you do post-game interviews, that you'd be good for this job. Bill Belichick, I would not have thought would be good on television.
Yeah.
I am shocked to say he's good on television.
He's
good.
He's actually really good on television, and he's probably going to hate that I say this. Guys, if he said all the stuff on TV that he says in the meetings, you'd love him even more.
Yeah.
Seth, he hates everything. And so, bro, like literally, like a guy will make this great play, and like me, Chad Johnson, Chris Long, we're like, oh my God, look at this play. And coach will be like, yeah, I mean, he caught a ball, Ryan. Like, what the frick? And I'll be like, but coach, it was an amazing catch. I mean, he's not better than Lawrence Taylor. Like, what I mean? Like, those are the conversations.
He's not better than the best player ever.
He's not better than the best player ever.
But I was surprised to hear, you were sort of busting on him, that I would have guessed he would be like first guy there, the most prompt guy in the building. Very tardy.
All the time.
Shocking.
Shocking.
That Bill Belichick is late.
And you talk to all his former players, all he did was take their money every time they were late. And so, like, the first day he walked in late, but I thought it was like this cool, I'm the greatest coach of all time, I know you can't tell me anything, sort of walk in late. So we just all clapped for him, because it's like, it's freaking Bill Belichick, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, yay! But he's late every week, Seth. And the funny part is, he's late for everything. Like, some people would be late for, like, the pre-show meeting.
Yeah.
But then when the show's supposed to start, his segment's first every time.
Yeah.
Because everybody just does whatever Bill says. His segment's first every time. We're all ready. We're all mic'd up. And then 15 minutes later, he comes strolling in. And guess what? None of us tell him anything, and we act like we've been waiting on him, and it's okay.
Yeah, but you have stopped clapping, I hope.
Yeah, we don't clap anymore. Like, I'm only going to clap for you once.
So you got your ring, Pittsburgh, 2008 season.
Yep.
I was at that game. One of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. One of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. I want to ask about Coach Tomlin, you know, who's been doing this a long time, and you were there for his first season. And
He was awful, Seth.
he was awful?
He was an awful, awful man. He was a very mean man, too.
He does not go easy on you guys.
No, and like that first year, we're coming from Coach Cowher, who is obviously one of the greatest coaches of all time. And I felt like Coach just wanted to make sure he put his imprint on the team. We hit more than we ever did at practice. We worked longer than we ever did at practice. And he wanted to show us what we had to be. And we kind of wore down that season. I don't know if you remember, Fred Taylor, who's now my partner, they rushed for like 200 yards in the last game of the season and the first game of the playoffs against us. We all had a conversation with him that next year, and we say, Coach, if you get us to Sunday ready to play and healthy, we'll get you a ring. And he backed off, and he became not a player's coach, but he became a coach that allowed us to weigh in, and it turned into a Super Bowl.
That's fantastic. I have one last thing to ask about because I never stop being impressed that you could pull this off, and I will not ever try this. But you have suits that are sort of two suits, Ryan. And
yes.
How did you come up with this idea? Because this is, by the way, people will be like, oh, he did it once. No, he's done it. I mean, it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Truly fantastic. Was it, but somebody had to have that idea. You didn't see it in the store and were like, oh, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, people don't make those in the store.
No.
So the guy that makes my suits, his name is Andre Julius, and he DM'd me one day. He was a cop, and he's like, hey, I want to get into doing this full time. I want an ambassador. I was like, what does that entail? So he told me we make the deal, and one day he was like, man, I got this idea. And I was like, well, what is it? He's like, I'm going to make 2 suits in one. And like any sane man, I said, that's stupid. and so he's like, promise, he's like, you don't have to pay for it, just wear it. And so I wore it one time and I liked it. And so now we've worked together so long, I'll just tell him I need a suit, but he doesn't tell me what he's doing. So the last one I wore to the Dallas Cowboys game, I didn't see it until I was about to wear it to the game. And then you stuck, right? Like you can't get a new one. So, but I do enjoy it, and I think it's different. And not many people like it enough to wear it, nor are people brave enough to wear it. So at least I'll be one of one.
You're very unique in a lot of ways. And thanks so much for being here. It's really just an honor to have you on the show. Ryan Clark, everybody. Inside the NFL airs Wednesday night at 9 and is available the next day to stream on the CW app. We'll be right back with Percival Everett.